going on, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of the Damaged Ones podcast. I gotta get something to get off my chest here. So something to get off my chest. Okay. I have never, in a while, had so many complications and problems when it came to uploading the last video podcast.
Oh, I know you had mentioned that. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness. Like
technology, you gotta love it when it works, hate it when it doesn't.
It's one of those things, just one of those things where you want to just rent out a rage room and just destroy as much a piece of technology as you can. For those that don't know, on the audio side, everything was great. But on the video side, one of my videos actually took like over 3 days to upload on YouTube, which was bullshit. And then there were pieces of it that was coming out. So to the viewers, I deeply apologize. We're still working out the kinks. We're trying to try something new. We're trying to go through in terms of different changes, in terms of the different video sharing formats and everything else. But nevertheless, we are trying to do the best we can since, technology sucks. But nevertheless, we are here. We're queer. Get used to it. Wait, what?
Onward and upwards, everybody. We keep moving forward.
In any case, welcome everyone back. My name is Mike Garcia, your voice actor, crazy motherfucker extraordinaire. And joining me as always, my beautiful co-host from the state of Pennsylvania, Miss Sarah Alice. Sarah, what's going on? You had a very busy weekend with your job, apparently, right?
Yes, somewhat busy. I was at a corporate event. Like, we were doing our annual company picnic, and we do an annual, like a Future in Focus. It's a career fair event for people looking for resources in the community to help with their job search. So our company had paid for us to go out to our corporate office in the state, and that was how I was busy these last few days. And, now doing the fun bullshit of the expense report, the fucking expense report that the company makes so difficult for no reason. Whoa. I feel they do it on purpose because they don't want to reimburse you and they hope you will give up. But I will not give up. I will persist.
All right. Giving it the benefit of a small doubt here. How much is this thing? Is it like it's... Can you explain a little bit more from a corporate standpoint, what you're talking about?
So from a corporate standpoint, and every company is a little bit different, but every company reimburses for travel in a different way. I know some companies will give like a company card. Others make you submit a reimbursement sheet. So where I work, you have to submit a reimbursement sheet. So let's say I travel to a conference or event that's outside my daily line of work. I can reimburse for any mileage I drove, hotel, food costs, but I have to submit receipts with that. And there's a very specific way you have to do it. You can't just upload screenshots because it doesn't read the format properly. You have to scan it and email it to yourself as a PDF. Or if it's in an email, you have to send it as text only, or it can't read the format. And it's just a bunch of like bullshit hoops you gotta jump through to make sure they get paid, otherwise they deny it.
Can I ask how much you spent in order to get reimbursed?
I didn't spend a lot. So the company did buy the hotel for us, but the hotel made a mistake because usually, when you book a hotel, they'll make you put your card down for incidentals. Yes. So they did that. They're like, we need your card for incidentals and taxes for the room. And I thought that was weird because I'm like, a corporate card was used to pay for this, but they did that for all of us that had checked into the hotel. So that's what we did. And lo and behold, my boss got a hold of me today and was like, yeah, the hotel fucked up. Like, they were supposed to do that on the corporate card. So now you guys have to submit an expense sheet for the incidentals and taxes that were taken off.
God, I'm so sorry. It's
so fucking frustrating because me in technology. I repel technology. Listeners, you don't know me, but anytime I'm around technology, anyone who knows me knows I'm like so stupid when it comes to this shit, or something always goes wrong. So today, half my morning was fighting with, you have a VPN when you work for a company to like give you a secure connection. Well, apparently they did some administrative changes and I have now been denied access from the VPN. So in order to submit my receipts for my expense report, you have to be logged onto this company's VPN or it won't allow you to access it. Well, now that I don't have access, they're like, you need to go to your supervisor and they have to do a whole form. Otherwise, we can't give you access and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, this is just becoming a huge fucking pain in my ass at this point. And it shouldn't be.
See, I feel like if it was me, I would just throw the table up and just say, fuck it, fuck this, I'm not doing it.
That's almost $200.
I got $200.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for me. Listen, if it would have just been like breakfast or something, I would have let it go. But the hotel charged me like $140 in just taxes and incidentals, the fucking assholes. So I'm not willing to let that go. $200 is $200.
All right. Well, then more power to you. Then, if you can get that $200, hopefully you get reimbursed with everything, and hopefully it does not continue to come out of your pocket. And if it does, maybe minor change. Like, you have to pay, like, a small deductible.
I know, but I went to a holistic expo this Sunday, and I bought $200 worth of shit at the expo thinking I was going to be completely reimbursed. So now that adds up to $400 I would have to owe back on my card. So, yes, that's why I'm fighting to get that back. Because I'm like, you promised I would get reimbursed. I'm, like, expecting that payback to put towards my card, yada, yada.
Well, it's funny.
I'd be broke. I'm a broke-ass motherfucker, everyone.
Okay, no. Like, it is a matter of principles. And like you just said, $200 to a lot of people, us included, is a lot of money. So I'm sure there's one that's listening to it. Well, it's just only $200. You could just let that go. No,
I cannot let it go. If it was $15, maybe, not $200.
Well, in a very interesting turn of events, hopefully, like I said, hopefully you get that done and hopefully everything goes smoothly for you moving forward with your job and the hotel and everything else. But in terms of everything that has been going on, a lot of bit of controversial type of scenarios going on, this time with the WNBA. You want to know what's funny? I did not think that there was going to be so much hype on the WNBA until it led to something that involved some kind of political statement, so to speak, some kind of socioeconomic agenda.
I mean, not trying to hate, but no one talks about the WNBA unless it's a controversial thing. Let's be honest.
That is true. And it's so fascinating that this is going on today. News has been reported that the WNBA commissioner, Cathy Engelbert.
Okay.
Engel, I kind of want to say Angel, but it's not. It's Engel. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
She sent a memo to the WNBA Players Association where she's going to address the gender issue that might impact the future of the WNBA drafts because basically two former NBA players have came out as trans athletes and they want to go into the 2027 draft for the WNBA. So now Cathy, and there's going to be a massive meeting to address this thing of whether or not this can actually stand. And obviously there's going to be there's already been a lot of backlash, there's already been a lot of pushback, and of course this is happening. If the Lia Thomas thing from hockey did not teach us anything
you mean from swimming?
Yes.
Oh, Lia, yeah.
Yeah. If that did not teach us anything at this point, I don't know what will. It's almost funny if you truly think about it. Like it really is. Like the most important players that we know so far, well, at least I know because of the UFC and a couple of others, Caitlin Clark, Sophia Cunningham, and so many others, like actual WNBA players. I can only imagine that they must be outraged at this point. They have to be.
But it's like whenever you say anything, you're automatically labeled as transphobic. And that's what drives me nuts about these things. Like, listen, I know we talked about this in a previous episode, but I'm just going to reiterate it again. I don't care if someone's trans. I will honor what you want to be called, your preferred pronouns, however you want to dress, whatever preferred name you want to be called. I respect that. I do draw the line, though, at men playing or trans women playing in women's sports. It's an unfair advantage. I don't care how you slice it and dice it. It's an unfair advantage, and it's not fair to women to feel uncomfortable in their own personal locker rooms. Like Lia Thomas, for example, did not have bottom surgery done and was walking around naked in the women's dressing room with her private parts hanging out. As a woman, that would make me very uncomfortable. I don't even like being naked in the locker room around other women, much less someone who has not gotten bottom surgery done being naked. But if you speak out, everyone's like, you're just transphobic. You got to get over it. Like, we have to have inclusivity. But what about the women that are getting their spaces invaded?
It's one of these scenarios that continues to get brought up and get caught up time and time again, especially since you're right, there is no line to be drawn. And I feel like that is the main problem. I'm going to reiterate this myself. There really is no such thing as equality. Men and women are not the same. If they were, and we would be inclusive to everything, why not combine the entirety of the NBA?
Right.
But no, there has to be special features, and there has to be special considerations for the different genders and the different sex, especially when they play. It is a factual fact, that's right, I said it, factual fact, little oxymoron there, where the men, whenever they compete in high competing sports, do not operate the same as females because they have greater lung capacities, they have greater
muscle mass
times, the muscle mass, the height, the weight, everything. The women, they're training their own selves. They have their thing, and they train in their own way. In my opinion, if you get these two guys, these two trans athletes, let me bring up what their names are real quick. Royce White and something Enes Kanter. Former NBA center Enes Kanter and Royce White. Cool. So these two, it's almost a waste of time to even be talking about this, to be honest, but yet we have to bring this up because this is how damaged society is at this point. There is no line drawn, especially when it comes to other people, especially from higher commissions and sports in general. The Lia Thomas situation, clearly no one has learned anything from that. From everything that has happened up to this point, where you have a male that has finished 200 or 300th in his own sport, then suddenly transitioned over to the women's side and became number one just instantly. And we all had to believe that that was the case. No, fuck that. As you just said, if I was a female, I'd be fucking pissed. You mean to tell me that everything that I worked for from the age of 8 to wherever I need to get to right now, to be number one, to be the best in the world, and I sacrifice my time, the energy that I spent, the time that I'm in the gym, the sacrifice that I made just to compete with another guy that should not even be in my division? I'm sorry, it's like you just said. No matter how you say you want to get your pronouns in and transition and whatever, it's fucking bullshit. Mm-hmm. It really is.
It's like you said, a line needs to be drawn. I'm okay with someone living their life as long as their life choices and decisions aren't harmful or impacting another in a harmful way. And in this situation with trans women playing in women's sports, it is negatively impacting women, like you said, have made it their life sometimes to compete in some of these sports or trying to go to the Olympics. It's just not fair. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with transphobia. And I'm okay with trans women using the bathroom because we have enclosed stalls. But it's different having a trans woman using a locker room that's naked. Doesn't have the bottom surgery. I'm sorry. It's uncomfortable. And why is it okay that we always make exceptions for trans women, but for us cis women, as they call us, we don't make any exceptions for us. And I don't like that word either. I hate labels and everything else. But why is it that we're always making exceptions to make trans women comfortable so they can feel included in a locker room? But if I speak out against it, I'm transphobic and I need to shut the hell up. Like, it's wrong.
Yeah. They play favorites and they play certain situations in terms of what it is that is suited for them. Because, of course, if you say something out negatively about it, or if you speak out about it, you're labeled this and you're labeled that and yada yada yada. Here's an interesting scenario, or here's an interesting situation of what can fix all of this. You already have a WNBA, which is a subsection of the regular NBA. Statistically speaking, the WNBA players get more in terms of their pay worth, while the male NBA players bring in about 8 to 10% of whatever it is they make for the entire industry. And if you're listening to this and be like, Garcia, that's bullshit. No, look it up. Yes, they produce more in terms of pay structure, but in terms of getting paid, they make less than females. But that's besides the point. If you already have the WNBA to become a subsection of the NBA, why not have a trans section as well?
That's what I've been saying. For any sport, why do we not just make a trans section?
Yes. Why not just have a sports dedicated to transgenders alone? Oh, but Garcia, that's unquestionable. That's unfathomable. Is it? Doesn't it make more sense to actually create a third subsection for transgenders, whoever it is, male to female or female to male, have them compete against each other? Maybe they could become, they could be excuse me, that's the wrong word to say. They could be founded by the LGBTQ, and they could be, freaking sponsored by anyone that wants to include DEI, and all the women that could be a part of it, and all the men that are transitioning can be a part of it as well. It can happen. The problem is they don't want to do it. The commissions and the sporting athletic commissions and everything doesn't want to do it because they know full well it will not generate money. Because that's what it is all about. It's all about making money. It's all about who it is that you're sponsored with, who it is that you appeal to, who it is that are buying the seats. Hell, the WNBA doesn't even have sold out seats. When was the last time they actually sold out a crowd? Let's be honest here. Let's call a spade a spade.
That's very true. That's very true.
Let's call a spade a spade. It's the only reason why it's slowly getting a little bit more traction. One, because of this controversial topic, and the other, because of someone continuously going on social media and running their fucking mouth, or doing something stupid, or, God forbid, want to compare pay structures. Why can't I be like LeBron James? Because you're not LeBron James, you bitch! You're not, you will never be LeBron James. I'm sorry.
That's true.
You could inspire to be like him. You could maybe train under him if he gives you the time, effort, and energy and coaching. You could be, instead of being like LeBron James, you could be your own person. The same way Caitlin Clark and Sophia Cunningham and all these other women that are playing in the sports, whichever the case may be. But again, the main issue is these two men that all of a sudden, not even hypothetically, all of a sudden decided, I was never really good in my division. How about let's go into the WNBA, and they have no choice but to include us. We're trans. If they say anything otherwise, well, they're just proving to everybody that they can't go with the status quo. I feel it's a little bit more, how can I say, inconvenient that all of this is even happening. All of a sudden in the 2027 WNBA Draft, instead of someone speaking up about it, instead of someone actually drawing the hard line on the sand to be like, no, if you are born a male, you cannot compete in women's basketball sports. If you are born a male, you cannot and will not compete. Simple. I don't care what you transitioned as. I don't care what surgery you have. I don't care what estrogen blockers or pills or whatever the hell the procedure is. If you were born a male,
yes.
if you were born a male, why do you think we do not allow trans women to compete in mixed martial arts, in the men's mixed martial arts? Dana White would never allow it. Paramount would never allow it. But because it's on ESPN, which is owned by Disney, and Disney is inclusive to everything, we have no choice but to entertain this idea. And I guarantee you that if this does get passed, if these two trans athletes do compete in women's NBA, not only will we going to take it less seriously than what it is, but it's going to be a mockery of all sport. It's a floodgate. It's a floodgate. It's going to now try to open up to everyone. Well, what about hockey? Well, we can't do this without. What about baseball? Well, we can't do this with baseball. What about football? Can football do it? No, you would get crushed in fucking football. Well, what about mixed martial arts? Or what about, I don't know what other sports, rugby, whatever the fuck it is. This is actually a little bit of a bigger issue than intended. It's not just inclusive. Like, this is a huge, huge issue. And this commissioner, what's her fucking name? Cathy Engelbert?
You said Cathy, right? Yeah.
Cathy. Again, what did I say? Angie? Cathy Engelbert. Engelbert. Whatever the fuck her name is. Like, seriously. I have to think about it this way. If I was a female in WNBA, you know what? Let me actually ask it from a woman's perspective. You were part of the WNBA and they actually let this pass. Let's say these two trans athletes actually does come into WNBA. Would this make you more, let's say, involved with the sport, or would you just quit completely?
It depends on the sport. Like something like basketball where it's more of a team sport, it's not as big of a deal, but something like swimming where it's an individualized sport makes a big difference. So it really depends on the sport. A team sport where you're all working together as a team, little bit different. But if I'm having a trans athlete that's coming in an individualized sport like swimming, tennis, and they are performing better than me because they have a biological advantage that I can't keep up with, I have a problem with that.
Interesting. Okay, so you'd be more receptive to.
I would be a little more receptive. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, the locker room thing would bother me. It would bother me. That, like I said, if it's bathrooms, it's different because it's an enclosed stall. But in an open space where there are women that are naked, I would be very uncomfortable with a trans athlete who has not had bottom surgery coming in my locker room.
Okay. So that's the only part that would get at you, where you're like, nope, if I have to share with these two people, I'm not a part of it. I'm done.
Yeah, I think you got to stand up. You really got, just like Riley Gaines did in swimming against Lia Thomas. She was labeled as transphobic as well, but she did not give up for what she believed in and said, these were the titles that I earned. This is what I have trained for, and it was taken from me. And she did not give up the good fight. So, again, do you on your own, but it's like you said, it brings up more than one issue. This is a very complicated scenario.
What they could do, the Caitlin Clarks and the Sophia Cunningham. I mean, Sophia Cunningham already has a direct relationship with Dana White in the UFC. And of course, they have a huge relationship with Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan has a huge fucking audience. So they could always go on and get on Joe Rogan and literally talk about their frustrations and concerns. And maybe that could influence a lot of people in terms of, that's another thing. Now that I'm just thinking about it, if they approve of this, the viewership of the WNBA is going to now decrease drastically.
It will. It's like cutting off their hand to spite their foot, basically.
Yes. And if you're listening to this and thinking to yourself, well, Garcia, how do you figure? Well, let's put aside the trans thing just for a little bit. Look at what's going on with the woke culture, anything to do with woke culture in the variety of sports, commercials, marketing, movies, music, anything. Anything that has to do with the woke culture that is forced down people's throats, it turns people away. It turns people away. So now, all of a sudden, let's take that same subsection of the WNBA that already has less viewership than the regular NBA. That's number one. It already has less. Now you bring 2 trans athletes into that fold, into that mix?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna watch, period.
Because people are tired of watching political correctness everywhere we go. If I want to watch sports, I want to watch fucking sports. I don't want it to be a whole political fucking agenda. And that's what they're making it out to be. They're making it out to be this whole huge political scheme. We just want to get away from that. When I watch entertainment and sports, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah. And if you're thinking, well, Garcia, what do you think the other option or thing would be? Set up a trans athlete sports figure. Whatever it is. Set that up. Get the funding. Go to Congress or the Sports Athletic Commission or whatever it is. Make your case. And see if there are other athletes that have transitioned that want to do the same thing. Because if not, then you're literally just being on the hush-hush and essentially towing the line. And in our opinion, we're kind of getting tired of being told to toe the line here. We really are. Especially when it comes to a sport that we somewhat care about, we have to draw the line. We really do.
I will play devil's advocate because I know we're going to have the keyboard warriors come in.
Yeah,
what would you say to someone that's going to come in and ultimately be like, this is segregation. This is like been back in the 50s and 60s. We segregated the blacks and the whites. And that's not inclusivity. What would you say to those type of people that you know are going to comment?
I would say, number one, get over it from the 50s and 60s. number one, get over it. Number two, okay, I understand the segregation issue that may arise because we shouldn't have segregation when it comes to anybody playing sports. However, if we include everyone together, what happens if one person that is not trans or not this gender or not this race or whatever decides to speak up and they get a whole team of people behind their backs? Like, again, there's a reason why we have a men's division and a women's division. There's a reason why certain people, even in the men's division alone, let's say football, for example, there's a reason why there's 3-4 divisions of football from the time that you play in college up until the time you go into the pros. Like, there are divisions there for a reason. Certain players and certain athletes play with certain players, and so on and so forth. You can't just take anyone just because they transition into something or claim to be something or living as that other person and then just instantly take them, and we just can't. We can't. There has to be standards.
There has to be standards, and there has to be a line drawn at the end of the day.
Yes, there has to be fucking standards, and you need to meet those standards in order to compete with the best of the best. You have to. Otherwise, what's to stop someone like me from wanting to get into basketball myself? They'd fucking laugh at me. They would fucking laugh at me. But listeners, we want to hear your take. Are you for this? If so, why? Are you against this? If so, why? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts. It is going to be a shorter episode. We only have about 10 minutes left. But Sarah, what did you want to get to your point across on this one?
I think we mostly got what I wanted to say across with this one. I just think it's like anything. There needs to be a line drawn in the sand.
A line drawn.
A line drawn.
A line
drawn. Guys, it's Monday.
It is.
I'm back on work brain.
It is.
And work mode. Line drawn. And it's not just with sports, it's with anything. I feel like everyone tends to look at things in terms of black and white when people forget there's many shades of gray in between. And it's not just about trans sports. This is about the justice system. This is about different political views. This is about the difference between being male and female. Like, there's so many different areas of gray. It's not, this is right, this is wrong, this is black, this is white. It really isn't. We need to stop, like, dividing ourselves in that way as a human race.
I'm kind of interested to see now what the WNBA is going to do. I'm kind of interested now to see.
What do you think they're going to do? I feel like if they don't want their viewership to go down, they're going to say no. For money reasons.
Well, here's another thing. I think based on peer pressure and appearing to towing the line, they're going to allow this to happen. And when they do, when they do, everything is going to fall. Everything is going to tank. And then there's going to be people, there are going to be women, like you just said, that are going to speak up and be like, no, I saw his thing or her thing or whatever. I am quitting the sport. There's going to be a union. The union is going to get involved, where they're going to be like, no, we are not going to put up with this. We're not going to tolerate this. Fuck this. If you can't fix this, there will be no WNBA.
Yeah, it has to end. Like, getting out of sports for a minute, I heard about a trans woman that was trying to sue gynecologists because she wouldn't give her a well woman's exam. She doesn't have a uterus. Why would she give you a well woman's exam when you don't have a uterus? But this is what I mean when I'm saying lines need to be drawn. If you identify as female, that's fine. But from a biological standpoint, you don't have a fucking uterus and you don't need to see a gynecologist. And the fact that you're suing a gynecologist for discrimination, it's asinine. Like, where's the line drawn? Where does it end?
This reminds me of the same stories that we hear over and over with trans women buying tampons because they're bleeding out of their asshole.
Because they're claiming that they're having a period. I'm sorry. If you are a trans woman, you do not have a uterus, which means you cannot get a period. You cannot get cramps, even if you're on estrogen. And this is coming from other trans women I follow who are very well known in the community. But even they're like, this is asinine. We need to stop this nonsense.
I want to hear more from the actual... We need Caitlyn Jenner. We need Caitlyn Jenner to speak up on this shit. Because she is the only one so far that has a very sound mind in terms of how these things are. If we can get Caitlyn Jenner and a lot of other trans women like her to come into the fold,
yes, to be the voice of reason.
Yes.
We need reasonable sanity.
We need the Caitlyn Jenners in the world to speak up against this bullshit. This I'm trying to find the words. Insanity. That's what it is. It's fucking insane. But listeners, what do you think? Should this stand? Should this not? Or because it's the WNBA and it's not touching your sport, you don't give two fucks.
I feel like that's where most people are going to fall. Because again, let's be real. Most people don't care about the WNBA. I mean, I'm just really calling a spade a spade. Like, it's not like the NFL. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's really not. Like...
Now, if this was the NFL, this would be a much bigger deal.
The NFL would never allow it. The NFL would never allow it. I'd be very surprised if they even entertained any of this. But because the commissioner of the WNBA is female, again, she's peer pressured into doing this. Regardless I don't even know how she feels about it. I'm sure she's inclusive. But I'm pretty sure peer pressure is doing this because she's female herself. The NFL would never allow this. And this is what I'm trying to say. The UFC would never allow this. The Hockey League would never allow this. The NHL. The Baseball League, MLB. a sport that has been around for over 100 years. They would never allow this. But because it's the WNBA, now all of a sudden, okay, what about this and what about that? And well, you know, she transitions, but she's actually a female when she's not technically a female. It's,
you know what the irony of all ironies is for me as a woman? How much have we as women fought to be able to have the right to vote, fought to be able to play sports? We fought to have these rights, and now that we do, men portraying themselves as women are trying to take that away from us. Like, oh, it's just women's sports, so no one cares. We can infiltrate it. Fuck you! Let us have something! We fought decades for this shit! And now you're trying to take that shit away. That just makes me feel a certain type of way.
I would have to agree. I'm sorry. I would have to agree. We need the Caitlyn Jenners. We need Caitlyn Jenner to actually speak about it. We need Caitlin Clark to fucking grow a backbone, because she's one of the most influential female players of the WNBA now, to actually say something about it. But no, she wants to be on the hush-hush because, you know, she doesn't want to... And I get it. Reporters, they like to poke the bear a lot. And I get it. You know, you speak anything politically, people are going to twist your words, and then they're going to label you, and that's the end of your career. I get that. There's only so much you can say. But if you get a group of people, if you actually get a group of, you know, women... I don't even know why I'm doing this with my hands. Like, if you get a group of people to come together and be like, no, absolutely not. But, like I said, peer pressure, team sport, they're going to allow it to happen. And when it does, the viewership will go down, money will be lost, riots, and all that other good stuff. Time will tell. Time will tell.
I'm very interested to see how it turns out.
And that's all we have to say about that. That is all we have for today on this episode of the Damaged Ones podcast. We apologize that this is a shorter episode than usual. You know, we are trying to work out a little bit more kinks on the video side. But the next time we will talk more on what will happen in the world of everything else. And especially my trip from New York City. Oh my God.
Oh yes, we do need to hear about that.
Yeah, driving to Tennessee was brutal. Oh my God, it was brutal. But that's for the next time when we come back. This is the Damaged Ones podcast. Once again, hit that like, subscribe, share, and download the podcast. It helps us tremendously. I don't know what the fuck I just said. We are over 1,100 downloads strong. Let's keep that number up and keep on rising and do what we gotta do. And if there's anything you want to hear from us, let us know in the comments. We sincerely appreciate you. Have a great week. Have a great time. Be safe. Be kind to one another. And
drink some water and walk it off.
Drink some water. Walk it the fuck off. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.